What Buddhi Yoga? Hare Krishna. What Buddhi Yoga? Buddhi Yoga is Bhakti Yoga. Right? And how do we know? What is the reference? Reference is verse number 10.10. So Krishna starts by clarifying from verse number 3, right? And Krishna says that Arjun, why? Like, why are you confused? I already told you, that there are two paths. Which are the two paths? Gyan and Yoga. Yes, Gyan Yoga and Karma Yoga. And they are, almost the same. Almost the same means reciprocal relationship of the two will help you. Which Prabhupada compares with philosophy and religion. Prabhupada says that philosophy without religion is self-speculation. And religion without philosophy is sentimentalism. And sometimes it becomes fanatism also. Okay? So while it is very good to perform religious practices, but your religious practices will get weightage when you do those practices with proper understanding, right? With knowledge. So Krishna then says that, both are same. And then he says that Arjun, we are a spirit soul, and a spirit soul is always active. So, at no point of time you can be inactive. In this body, we are bound as if we are in a cage, right? And Nikita Mataji gave that example of sack race, right? That when we do sack race, our speed of running slows down. But if you remove the sacks, we can run faster, right? So our tendency as a soul is being active. Inactivity is not natural to us. And therefore, Krishna says you work. But it is important to understand that how we should be working. And Krishna says, whatever you do that for me in 3.9. He says, Yagnat karmano anyat lokoyam karma bandha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. See, if you work for me, then you will be free from all these, karmic bondages. But if you work for your own, enjoyment, then unfortunately you'll be bound. So, first thing is, Krishna said that whatever you do it in knowledge, right? Second, he said that the nature of soul is to be active. So activity is natural to us. And in 3.9, he explains what kind of activity we should be performing. So what kind of activity we should be performing? Anyone would like to repeat that? What did Krishna say in 3.9? Yagnat karmano. You can just tell me in English, like what is Krishna expecting from all of us?
Do your duty as for me, for Krishna, not for yourself.
Yes.
When you do like that, you will be free of bondage.
Very nice. Very nice. Yes. Everything we do it with sincerity, whatever you do, right? So that is important for us. And then from basically 3.10, thereafter, the next session begins, where Krishna will gradually take us from explain basically what is this Karma Kanda and Karma Yoga, how we should, be performing what he said, work for Krishna. And he said that by giving an example, in 3.10, he says, Sahayagya praja srishva puro vacha prajapati. Anena prasha vishwadam eshavo ishta kamado. He says, Arjun, do you know this whole earth, this whole cosmic manifestation has been created by me so that you can perform your prescribed duties for me. That what he says, yajna. When we perform prescribed duties, it is dharma. But when dharma is performed for Vishnu or Krishna, it becomes yajna. Saha yajna praja srishtva, purovacha prajapati. That means Krishna says in 3.10 that I have created this earth so that you can perform yajna. And what will be the result of performing yajna? He says, prashavishwadam, that you will be happy and you will get liberation. So he's giving us a medicine of the disease. That medicine is yajna. And what is the yajna for Kali Yuga? Kalo tadhari kirtana. Right? We have discussed this many times. Right? Krate yadhyayato Vishnu, Tretayam yajato makhe, Dwapare paricharyayam, Kalo tadhari kirtana. And Krishna again repeats that, if you will see in 10th chapter. 10th chapter, 25th verse, Krishna says, Yajnanam japa yajnasmi. That of all the sacrifices, chanting of my name is the most important. Japa yajna asmi. Japa. Chanting is also a kind of yajna. Sometimes we say that yajna is only when you perform fire sacrifice. No. Even your work, what you are doing, your duty is also yajna. When you perform your duty for Krishna, that is also yajna. Yajna is not only when you offer ahutis in fires. No. What ahuti is? Our consciousness. And when we are offering our consciousness to Krishna, it becomes yajna. And when we are chanting, what are we doing? We are offering our mind. We are offering our senses, hearing, tongue, speaking, right? Our consciousness again to Krishna. So this is kind of yajna we should be performing, right? And then very important thing Krishna says in 3.13. What does he say? Yajna shishra shina santo muchante sarva kilpisha. Bhunjante te to agham papam ye pachyante atma karana. So he says, I know that many of you, yes, fine, you want to control your senses. But he says that which sense is the most voracious sense? Someone will like to share which sense, which of
mind.
your
Mind.
Yeah, mind is definitely, because mind is the center. For example, we have these 5 senses and mind is this center, right? Mind is controlling. So we have to control the mind in order to control these 5 senses. And of these 5 senses, which one is the most difficult to control? Tongue. Yes, tongue is the most difficult. And how can you control the tongue?
Eating prasada and chanting.
Yes, our Rama Prabha Mataji, she knows. She has gone through systematic study of Prabhupada books. So she knows. What Krishna is saying in 3.13 is, please eat only prasad. Prasad does not mean only Chadnamrit, or only when you go to temple you get little in your palm. No. Whatever you eat, you should eat only after offering to Krishna. Right? That is what. Otherwise, see, it is not only about non-vegetarian products. It's not only about eating outside, onion, garlic, and all. No. Even if you are eating at home, but you are not offering to Krishna before eating, then that becomes papa. Ye pachanti atma karana. Those who are eating for their own sense gratification. Bhunjante te agham papa. That becomes papa. And Prabhupada gives a nice purport. He says, okay, here, is there anyone who has not taken COVID vaccine? Covaxin, Covishield, anything? Sputnik? Is there anyone who has not taken vaccine? No one. Huh? Prabhupada says, as you take vaccine for an epidemic, this prasad is like a vaccine. If you take prasad, it will protect you from all kinds of problems. So take prasad. And then Krishna says, if you will not be able to control your senses, then I'm sorry, I cannot be of any help to you, right? And then we move to the next section.
For the interruption, can I ask here? Like garlic and onion, if we are preparing food and that food we are not offering to Krishna, I prepare some other one for Krishna, so that is fine.
Yes. Onion, garlic we cannot offer to Krishna. Huh? For example,
that's right. But if I make some other food where I put garlic and onion and not offering, then I don't think so. Is there any issue?
See, issue is, first thing is, when Krishna, do you agree that Krishna is very smart? He's an intelligent person.
Right. He's very smart.
Right. So, here Krishna says that anything you eat without offering to me, it is sin. And then Krishna smartly says what I can eat. Patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. So he says, I can only eat these things. I don't take onion, garlic. Now you say, if I cook something with onion, garlic, I don't offer it to Krishna and I eat. So is it all right? It is not all right. First thing is, even if you are eating fruits without offering to Krishna, that is also pap. You have to understand basic things. Fruits, ground fruit, milk, whatever. If you are eating all those things without offering to Krishna, that is also pap. So eating onion, garlic, egg, tea, coffee, taking alcohol, non-veg, all this is pap. And we cannot, all these things, so we can never offer to Krishna. So that is very clear. So whatever, see there, Krishna has prescribed what you can eat. So all those things only you can eat. Why? Now I ask you one question. Why has Krishna done like that? This is also a question. That why Krishna doesn't allow this onion, garlic? Why Krishna doesn't allow tea and coffee and all those things? So there is a problem here, I tell you. Now suppose you have one bike. Now that bike, it works on which fuel? What is the fuel for bike?
Petrol or diesel?
Petrol or diesel? Diesel, I don't know if in India there is no bike which runs on diesel. I doubt.
No. Car. Bike, only petrol.
Petrol, right? So now if you put water in that bike, what will happen?
It will not run.
No, not only it will not work, but the engine will cease.
Right.
Yeah. So then your husband or your father will scold you. You don't know what was the fuel. Similarly, this machine, this car, this needs a specific fuel. And because Krishna is the manufacturer of this car, Krishna knows what fuel works for it. If you use something else, this engine will cease. So that is why Krishna knows what is best for this body, because he's the manufacturer, right? He says in 15.7, what does he say, Nikita Mataji? What that verse is? 15, that every living entity is my part and parcel. Huh? You are on mute. So he says that every living being is by part and parcel. And he knows that. And in 14th chapter, 14.4 or 5, he says, Aham Bij Pradapita, that I'm seed-giving father. So Krishna knows us very well. Krishna knows this body, this consciousness, mind, soul, and how to control that. Which is why he has said this thing. Okay. Is there any question on this? Jyoti Mataji, you are clear? Jyoti ji?
Yes, it is clear. But at home, for some recipe, only onion and garlic is, required. So other person in house, so they want. So that's I'm thinking how to I control. So this is the.
Prabhuji is staying in a joint family, and there, if we don't want to eat onion, garlic, okay, we will prepare for ourselves. But then, like other people who are eating onion garlic, we have to prepare. That we cannot offer Krishna Prabhuji.
No, no, we cannot offer.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
you.
it becomes very difficult for us. If when, like for example, if we have to go to some marriage and all, nowadays there are no recipes which are without onion garlic.
Yeah, no, I understand. That is the challenge. And see, sometimes we also have to go to marriage because we are also grastas. We have also to attend. So if you have to eat there, it is not that there are no options. I can tell you. Nikita Mataji, you please tell me what are the options you can take in marriage. Tell everyone.
Right. I think we usually prefer just the rice, plain rice, and, curd you get easily. You get South Indian, dosa, chutney.
Sweet.
Yeah, sweets.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Some salad will be there without onion, So see, first thing is, why it helps us? Because if I tell my son, let's go to marriage, he will be happy because he knows you will get lot of things there to eat. Because we generally go to devotee marriage and all. So we get prasadam there. But otherwise, see, one of the main reason why people go for marriage is that they will eat lot of things to eat, different varieties. Now here Krishna knows Kali Yuga people also. When did Krishna speak this Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna? Just before Kali Yuga. So this was actually medicine for Kali Yuga people. So Krishna says, okay, if you are going to marriage, there also you will get rice, pulav you will get, there will be some raita, right? Some pakoda, some sweets will be there. You take this little bit. That will also help you to control your tongue. At home, when you are living in a joint family, or your spouse or your other family members, they are not understanding the whole science of Krishna consciousness, then there is no harm for you to prepare. There is no harm if someone is forcing you, then you can prepare. Because as a lady, as a wife, that is your responsibility, right? And you will not incur paap by feeding them because they want. But you should try to avoid. I don't know how you cook, but onion you can put later. You can take out your sabji, offer it to Krishna, put onion, you serve other family members. If you can do that. I don't know what is the cooking process, but that is one way how you can, you can take, because you are the owner, you are the king of the kitchen. So at least this is in your hand, right? You can do this. And there is one more thing. Some people say you cannot offer to my home deity because this and that. What you do? Krishna is Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. He is present everywhere. You don't offer to your home deity. You take a small photograph. Even if you don't have photograph in your mobile, you will have every day Nikita Mataji sending you photograph. Put that photograph in mobile phone, off phone, photograph. Krishna will accept that. Why? Because Krishna accepts your bhav. So intelligent people, they will find out a way. Trupti Bhabhi ji, are you fine with that?
I'm fine.
Just try.
I prepare for myself, offer it to God. At least now I've started one thing, sweet or khara. Before I used to offer fruit. Nowadays I'm preparing one sweet or khara. I offer it and I eat that. I give it to all the other members also.
Yeah, sure. Nikita Mataji can discuss this with you. Nikita Mataji, you wanted to add something?
I was just saying that, if you are preparing food for yourself, and offering that to Krishna, you can add the prasadam into the food you're preparing for your family. At least they will get, and you will see the transformation slowly. as they start eating prasadam, at least roti, whatever you can without onion garlic, something like rice, dal, and roti for sure. It's mainly the vegetable, right? So try whatever you can. And as they start eating prasadam, you will see the gradual transformation. We see it impossible task, but in due course, you will see it is made a big factor, onion and garlic, to be honest. But as you start having food without it, you will not even realize it is without it.
Sure, Mother. Thank you.
So now comes the next topic. Nishkam Karma Yoga to set the example, right? So that is also important, right? So does anyone remember what was in this section? Krishna here, sings many important verses, right? Krishna says here, see, first he said why you should be performing your work, right? Why do we perform work? For our own purification, right? And when you will be purified, you will gain knowledge. But what about people who are already in knowledge? Huh? What about people who are already in knowledge? Because the person who is in knowledge will not have any material desire or any kind of attachment. So should they still be performing the work? Krishna says yes. Keep performing to show how others should perform. For example, we all have gone to schools, right? And now many of us have our younger brother, sister, or our children. And we teach them A for apple, B for ball. So when you are repeating A for apple, B for ball, someone will say, what is he doing? He is a graduate. Why is he saying A for apple, B for ball? We are saying to teach our younger ones. So Krishna says to Arjuna, similarly, yes, I know you are a graduate. I know you are in knowledge. You don't need anything for yourself, but you have to teach others. So Krishna says, yes, you perform duty, your responsibility to help others, right? That is very important, right? And perform your duty without attachment. That is the most important. And what happens? What do you mean by without attachment? See, when you do things for Krishna, by default, it will be without attachment. But sometimes, even when you do things for Krishna, your fame, these things come in. So we have to be very careful, right? We have to be very careful to always check our mind. That is very important. But the basis is, if you are doing anything for Krishna, that will not have your, any self-motivation, right? You are doing to please Krishna. That should be our main motive, right? That is the most important thing. And then Krishna says, in one important verse, 3.21, Yad yad acharati sheshta tattad evetaro jana sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvardate. Here Krishna says that Arjun, you are a leader. You should always set good examples, right? As parents, right? Or as elder brothers or sisters, as an important person in the society, as a husband, as a mother, right? Whatever. We are kind of a leader for our younger ones, people who are dependent on us. And Krishna says this verse for all of us, that you should be exemplary in your behavior. And Prabhupada and Vaishnava Acharya says, Achar hi prachar hai. Means your exemplary behavior is going to influence others. For example, a father says to the children, hey, don't waste your time in video game and all these things. And then he sits in front of television for 2-3 hours or even for 20 minutes. What will children see? This person was telling me not to play video game and waste time, and now he's looking at all these things. So that is why Krishna says you have to be first exemplary in your behavior, right? That is very important. And then Krishna says, important verse is 3.27 also. Prakrti kriyamanani guna karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. Now, a person, sometimes when he becomes a leader, Krishna says you become a leader, but sometimes a leader also becomes proud. So Krishna says, ahankara vimudatma, that false ego, you should always check that. Because actually, if you talk about a mother and a father, they say he is or she is my child. What have they contributed in that child? Did they make the child in the womb of the mother? Who made the child? Who made the brain? Who made the fine fingers and senses and eyes and everything? It is Krishna, material nature. Then, why then ahankar? We say that I have done this, I have done this. Arey Baba, your brain belongs to Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. The water, air, oxygen. In COVID, that oxygen became so important. Did you ever realize who is providing your oxygen? Oxygen cylinders are not available, this and that. Many people are running here and there. But when there is non-COVID times, who is providing that oxygen free of cost? Krishna. And should we be proud? That is what Krishna is saying. Ahankara vimudatma. Out of false ego, he bewilders, his mind bewilders. So we have to be careful. And then Krishna says again, what he said in 3.9, he's saying again. What is he saying? Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatmak chetasa nirashir nirmanmo bhutva yuddhasya vigata jwara. That you should always perform your work for Krishna. You should not do anything for yourself without any desire for profit or thinking that this belongs to me. Everything is Krishna's. My child has been sent by Krishna so that I can take care on behalf of Krishna. That should be our mentality. Right? When you are living in a rented apartment, what do? That house becomes yours? No. But you have to clean that house. You have to take care of that house. Similarly, you have to do everything in Krishna consciousness, proper consciousness. And Krishna says, a person who obeys this instruction will be very dear to me. But others who don't obey, they are rascals. Krishna says that in 3.32, that they will be befooled and ruined in their life. So it is very important for us to follow Krishna's order. Now, sometimes what happens, yes, I know what Krishna is expecting from me, but it is becoming a little difficult for me, right? Does that happen? Krishna is saying, yes, I know that happens. Why does it happen? Because of material nature. Prakriti. Prakriti is Swabhav and Vasanas. There are two things. Swabhav and Vasanas. Material nature and material desires. They're two different things. Now what happens is, Krishna is saying, you should work as per your material nature. Whatever is your inclination, whatever you are good in, do that thing for me. If Arjun is good as a Kshatriya, you be a Kshatriya. If Vyasdev is good as a Brahman, you be a Vyasdev. Right? If Sudama is good in Brahman, being a Brahman, you being a Brahman and serve me. If Sanjay is good as a Shudra, you be a Shudra and serve me. If Nand Maharaj is good as a Vaishya, you serve me as a Vaishya. So he doesn't mind. For him, use your material. But he says, check your Vasanas. material desires is what we need to check. That way is very important. Without controlling your vasanas, you will not be able to succeed. And what we have to do to check the vasanas? No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit relationship. These 4 things are very important. Check our, proper thing. Now, Arjun heard all these things. Now, Arjun says, sometimes, Krishna, what happens? Even though I am trying my best, I am trying to control as per your instruction. I am working as per my varna. I am trying to control my vasanas. But sometimes it happens, someone is pushing me. Someone is forcing me to do sinful activities. And what is that? Then Krishna says in 3.37. Krishna says, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajo Guna Samudbhava, Mahashano Mahapapma, Vidhi Enam hi Verina. You know what is the meaning of Verina? Verina.
Greatest enemy.
Greatest enemy. Now, sometimes what happens, we think China is our greatest enemy or Pakistan is our greatest enemy. But here Krishna is saying, where is that greatest enemy? Vidya enam, in our body. Greatest enemy is not my neighbor, is not my relative, is not China, Pakistan. Greatest enemy is inside. And what is that?
Lust.
Lust. Kama Esha, Krodha Esha. Kam and Krodh. Kam and Krodh. Hari Krishna Prabhu, how has that Kam and Krodh come?
If you keep on thinking about a desire, it will become like it is a contemplation. That means you need that, whatever your consequences may be.
Yes.
Control that. Because of that, you will get angry, and with that angry, you will lose your knowledge.
Yes.
With that knowledge, with loss of knowledge, you will be doing sinful activities.
Yes. That very good. This is in which the Dhyayato Vishan Pumsa Sangas Teshu Pitayate Sangas Sanjayate Kama Kama Krodha Vijayate Krodha Bhavati Sammoha Sammoha Smriti Vibhrama Smriti Vrimchat Buddhi Nasho Buddhi Nasha Pranashyati. 2.62 and 2.63. What Hari Krishna Prabhu said is there in 2.6263. It starts from Dhyayato. If you try to focus on wrong things, what Ajamila did in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a story of Ajamila, right? But here Krishna is also saying one thing: Rajo Guna Samudbhava. This actually is all driven by mode of passion. So now Krishna has said this is the problem. What is the problem? This is the problem. Now Krishna has identified the problem, but Krishna wants to encourage Arjun. Arjun, don't worry. Problem is not very deep. It's superficial. He gives 3 examples. He gives example of, consciousness covered by lust. It is in 3 degrees. Our pure consciousness is covered by lust. And it is in 3 degrees of intensity. For example, first he gives example of smoke covering the fire. Smoke covering the fire. It is less intense. When fire is there, sometimes the smoke superficially covers. You are not able to see the fire. Then their second is dust covering the mirror. If you don't clean your mirror, dust will be there. Second example. Third is womb covered by embryo. This is a medical example Krishna gives. Don't think that Krishna doesn't know how to do surgery. Krishna is the biggest doctor also, right? So he gives that example also. Now, these are the three levels of consciousness. But he says that don't worry, Arjun, because human beings generally are in the first layer, right? Like the smoke covering the fire. So if you little rekindle the fire, smoke will go away, right? So if you start practicing spiritual life, the transformation is faster in human beings. But if you do the same thing for trees and animals, it may take long time. There are examples of animals also, who are serving Krishna, right? Many elephants, we are seeing examples of animals also. But some humans are also animals. There are both type of examples. So in which category all of you want to be? All of us want, actually all of us are already practicing spiritual life, right? So we are in the highest category. We are already rekindling that fire. So smoke is going away. So if you practice your spiritual life, and what is best for your spiritual life? You tell me. What is the best yajna?
Chanting.
Chanting. And I see almost all of you are attending morning chanting.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not attending, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I also see you sometimes.
I'll be like, I won't be chanting. I'll be listening to that chanting because at that time I'll be doing my exercises and all.
Oh. You do exercise for how many? We opened this thing for 3 hours, 4:30 to 7:30 a.m. So just find how many rounds are you all chanting. For example, Hare Krishna Prabhu, how many rounds?
I'm not chanting like that rounds. Only 2 days I tried chanting one round in the morning, 1 round in the evening. For 1 day I chanted. And then like normally I'll be keep on memorizing that, repeating in my mind. And while doing the puja also, I'll be I'll be chanting that mantra.
So if, for example, you have an infection and doctor is telling you to take antibiotic and you tell that I am taking multivitamins, that will not cure the infection. Multivitamins are good, but antibiotics needs to be taken.
Yeah, that is true, Prabhuji, but there is time constraint for me. Still, I am trying to adapt for this thing.
Gradually try. See, 1 round it takes 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Start with 1 round.
Yeah.
Because whatever we do, see, there is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. The verse says, you go to all the places of pilgrimage. You perform all the yajnas. You give so much in charity. You perform all the sacrifices. But all this together, performed for millions of years, is not equal to chanting the names of Krishna. So, the most important medicine of this Kali Yuga is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Iti shodasakam nashanam kali kalmasha nashanam nata parantaro paya sarva vedeshu drishyate. This verse is from our Ved, Yajurved. In Yajurved there is a Kali Santrana Upanishad. And this Upanishad clearly says that if we have to overcome the problems of Kali Yuga and transcend, then there is only one remedy. And what is that remedy? Chanting of this. So please try your best. So what we were discussing is, Krishna is telling Arjun, for you it is very easy. You start spiritual practices. And of all the spiritual practices, the most important is chanting. And I tell you, our Jyoti Mataji, Kavya Mataji, right, Vishwa Prabhu, I see Nikita Mataji daily comes, right? I see Tirupati Bhabiji also comes sometimes. Kamala Prabhu comes daily, and his wife also comes. So now I ask you one question, those who are coming. You chant morning between 5 to 7:30, and sometimes you chant in evening, afternoon, or night time. Have you experienced any difference between chanting in morning versus afternoon and evening?
Yes, Prabhuji. Morning chanting is very peaceful.
Very peaceful.
And we become so active. Whatever work we do, we do it with the devotion and we don't feel tired. But as the day goes, and if we chant in the evening, that focus is not there. I have found this different.
Yes. Trupti Bhabiji has summarized it very well actually. Because in afternoon, why? Because morning time is Satogun time. After 9 a.m. it is all Rajogun. And post afternoon and evening time is all Tamogun. So best is to chant in Brahma Muhurat. That is the best time. So we request all of you to please try to join in the morning chanting. All of you are there in our group of morning chanting? All, right?
Yeah, yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Trupti Bhabiji, you should try to join us.
No, I was not well, that's why I couldn't join. Now I'm going to join. In 2-3 days, I'll join.
Very nice.
I'll try. By tomorrow, I'll start joining.
Sure. Thank you very much. Rama Prabha Mataji can also join.
I'm not aware, Prabhuji, like how to join that.
Oh, she's not there in our morning chanting group?
Yeah, she just joined this group. So I'll add her for morning. I'll let her know.
Okay, I know her name.
Today is my first class, Prabhuji. I joined, this is the first class.
Oh, no, this morning chanting group is there, a separate.
Okay. No, I meant like this Bhagavad Gita class also, this is the first class I am joining.
Yeah. So I have, okay. Actually, I do the thing immediately, otherwise I will forget. So I've added you in the morning chanting. Okay.
Thank you.
So I also want to share, sorry for the interruption.
Yes.
I also want to share that during the chanting in the morning time, so what I feel till now, like I have done around like 15-20 days, like this whole month previous, from June I have started. So I feel like I have completed something best. I have done something good. And whole day I feel secure. And I feel like there is no problem. Whatever problem situation happen, I can handle. And I feel like Krishna is with me. So it's like protective powers, something I feel like. So I'm very happy. If some type, like I faced that I had a COVID, then I felt like, if someday I missed, so I felt like I missed something, I felt like bad. So it's very awesome. Feeling is very awesome.
Thank you, Jyoti. Is there anyone else who would like to share?
I think Kambala ji, he wanted to share something.
Kamala Prasad Prabhuji, you want to share something? He's on mute.
आप चाहिए?
Okay. So now Krishna has given that example also. That he said that is the problem. And he said that, but the problem in humans is not very severe. It can be. Now, but then, okay, the problem is there. First, what is the problem he identified? He said the problem is not very severe. But then you will ask the doctor, which organ is impacted by that? Is liver, kidney, heart? What is it impacting? Right? When you go to a doctor says the problem is there. Problem is not severe. But then you will ask, okay, where is the problem? So Krishna said, the problem is sitting in three places. Which are those three places? Who will share?
Mind, knowledge, and senses.
Yes. Senses, mind, and intelligence. Krishna says that this lust has occupied three strategic positions. When you have to overcome your enemy, you have to occupy a strategic position. So this lust is also very smart. Lust has occupied three most important positions: senses, mind, and intelligence. Right? And there is one very important thing I want you to understand. In purport of 40th verse of 3rd chapter, Prabhupada says, the enemy has captured different strategic positions in the body of the conditioned soul. Right? So this enemy lust has captured three strategic positions in our body. And we are at this point of time, when we are covered with this lust, we are conditioned. That is why Prabhupada said conditioned soul. Actually, soul is always pure, but we are conditioned. Conditioned by what? Because we have lusty intelligence. So Prabhupada says lusty intelligence influences the spirit soul. And then what happens? If the lusty intelligence will influence the spirit soul, what happens? It forces the spirit soul to acquire the false ego, and identify itself with matter, and thus with mind and senses. So what is happening is, under the influence of lusty intelligence, we acquire false ego. And then with that false ego, we identify ourselves with matter, with mind and senses. The spirit soul becomes addicted to enjoying the material senses and mistakes this as true happiness. So if our senses are enjoying, our mind is enjoying, we think, oh, I am so happy. Why? Because we are identifying ourselves with sense and mind. Because currently, our soul is influenced by lusty intelligence. That lust is sitting on our intelligence. Krishna says, how can you overcome? Krishna says, follow the 4 regulative principles. What are the 4 regulative principles? And how can you control actually your senses? Your senses can be controlled by following 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit relationship, no gambling. These are the 4 things by which you can control. This is first thing. This is not to be done. And then Krishna says, important thing in the last verse, that control your intelligence. How do we control? Krishna has already repeated this in 2.66. Nasti buddhir ayuktasya na chayuktasya bhavna na chabhavayata shantir ashantasya kuta sukha. So there are 2 things Krishna is saying. First is not to do all 4 bad habits, and what to do positive. Positive is chanting, hearing, and reading. Chant Hare Krishna mantra. So to remove this lust from intelligence, to remove lust from the mind, to purify the senses. First, intelligence needs to be purified. And intelligence can only be purified when you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When you are chanting, you have to chant this attentively. When you are doing so many activities and you are chanting, that is not attentive chanting. When you chant sitting in one place in morning, you try to hear what you are chanting in association with devotees. That is what will help us. For example, now there is some disease. And again, if you want to get cured, will you go to a quack? Or you will go to the best hospital, to the best doctor? Right? Similarly, we will take the best treatment, and we will be very sincere. We will not miss any medication. We will control our diet, right? Similarly, when we are chanting can be done even when you are driving, even when you are swimming, even watching movie also, cricket match also. You can chant. That is also chanting. And chanting is also when you chant at 5 a.m., sitting in one place, in front of Tulsi ji, in association with devotees on Zoom, for example, right? On your mala, listening attentively. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. That is the medicine. So Krishna says, do that. And like you are all attending Nikita Mataji's sessions, right? This Gita. So you are hearing. And try to read also. So all these things will remove the lust from our intelligence. And then when we have a strong intelligence, then the intelligence will control the mind. And mind will control the senses. So you have to do these things nicely. So Nikita Mataji gave me 1 hour. I am done with this revision. So now we will open the floor for questions. Is there any question?
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one sloka you said, right? Patram pushpam palam toyam yogi, like that. Yeah, that does literally mean that you should eat only you should avoid garlic, onions. Does it mention anywhere, like in the, even not only in Bhagavad Gita, any of the literature in the or Vedas or in any way, does you should avoid meat eating, you should avoid garlic, onions? Is it anywhere it's mentioned in the literature?
So Nikita Mataji, you send that video to this group of Amrinder Prabhu, onion garlic video. You please post it today. So Hare Krishna Prabhu and everyone will go through that video, and you will understand how scientific it is not to take onion and garlic.
Yeah. Yeah, that I understood, Prabhuji. Onion and garlic, I understood. That will improve Rajogun in individuals, right? That will induce Rajogun in individuals, onion and garlic. So to come into Sattvagun, you should avoid that. What about meat eating and all?
See, meat eating is even worse. I will explain you. Let me explain you. I think so. In past also, Nikita Mataji might have. But because I am a medical doctor, I will explain you in a scientific way. Okay. So when you eat something, first is your mouth, right? So what in your mouth helps to eat that? Your teeth and your saliva.
Yeah.
And then whatever you then swallow. After swallowing, this is a food pipe. Yeah. And then it goes in your stomach.
No.
In the stomach, what happens? Again, the churning. There are some acids.
Yeah.
And then after stomach, it goes into your intestine.
Yes.
And then you evacuate.
Yeah.
Now I will start explaining you the anatomical differences between a body which is made to eat flesh versus patram pushpam phalam toya. Okay. So I will compare two kind of machine. One machine will take petrol, another machine will take water. So for example, you have used inverters, batteries, right? In car, batteries, they are now electric scooter, every battery different. In battery, what do you put? Water.
No, electricity. will charge.
Not lithium batteries. There is, those big batteries. You put water in that.
Yes.
Charging is required, but water you also have to.
Yeah.
But in motorcycle, you have to put petrol. So now there are two kinds of bodies. One is flesh, other is patram pushpam phulam. So this teeth, these are known as teeth which are more blunt, not very sharp. Now, is there any difference between our teeth and the teeth of tiger and lion? Or
yeah, they have different teeth, right?
They are sharp.
Yeah.
Now, saliva. Our saliva is not very strongly acidic.
Yeah, it's
our
basic.
Saliva and saliva of a lion is very different.
Okay.
They are very strong. They can digest. They can help to start digestion of non-vegetarian products, which have more complex fibers and structure, chemical structure and fibrous structure and protein structure. Then it goes in the stomach, same thing. Now, after stomach, intestine. Our intestine is very long. And intestine of tiger, lion is small. Why? Because these non-vegetarian products, they will putrefy faster. In Hindi, we say they will, what do you call in English, Nikita Mataji?
I understood. Fermentation kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. So they are evacuated faster because their intestine is small. Now what happens, if we eat, our intestine is large, they stay back for long. And that is not good for health. Now, if you say, I'm also a researcher, pharmaceutical researcher. So what happens, now if they want to do cancer trial, you know where they would like to do cancer trial? In North America, in Europe, in our Middle East countries, China. Why? Because they find good number of cancer patients there.
Yeah.
Not that cancer patients are not in India, because India also many non-vegetarians are there primarily. And it is not that vegetarians will not have cancers. Yeah. Because cancer are also because of chemicals, smoking also and other things. But primarily, this is the cause. And there are many other diseases which are caused. So morphologically, anatomically, physiologically, this body is different from body of non-vegetarian. So Krishna is saying that you avoid these things. Don't eat those things. They are not good for your health. If you put water in the motorbike, that is what it is.
Is there any literature where they have characterized, like where they have grouped foods based on their, based on their gunas, sattva, rajo, and tamo? Is there any way? Can I get any information on that? Is it possible?
So in 14th chapter,
okay.
14.26.
Okay.
Now in 14th chapter and in 18th chapter, Krishna is characterizing everything into 3 gunas. Okay. But you know what he says? That you have to go beyond the guna. Even sattva guna you have to go. Why? See, eating fruits, milk, leaves is sattva guna.
Yeah.
But eating prasadam is
above sattva. Yeah.
So sattva, rajogun, and tamogun are all entangling us. There is like someone has bound us with a golden chain or silver chain or iron chain. It is a chain. Yeah. But Krishna in 14.26 he says that you can only overcome by performing devotional service. That is very important for us to understand, because until and unless you perform a devotional service, it will be very difficult.
But yeah, and this those who are performing this soldiers and all, okay, whether it would be in this yuga or it could be in that any yuga, Dwapara yuga or any other yugas, right. Soldiers for getting the rajogun means in war they should be rajogun, right? They can't be in sattvagun in war. So for their guna, they should eat a different kind of food, right?
Huh?
Like
so Arjun, have you ever heard of a fighter stronger and smarter than Arjun?
no, I haven't heard. No, because I am telling, like, if we consider like foods are improving the gunas, like a warrior in
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
The problem is what we assume.
Yeah. Okay.
The thing is, in war, you have to be in satoguna, not rajoguna. Because if you don't use your intelligence, you will be killed. See, a doctor has to use, everyone has to use their brain. Even ants, they are using their brain. So in Battle of Kurukshetra, everyone had to be very smart, sharp, right? Yeah. See, please try to understand this whole body. What do you mean by Rajoguna?
Rajoguna is a passion. It's a passion, like something tendency.
What food do you think is in Rajoguna? What they should eat, soldiers, according to you?
According to me, what I am thinking is they also should consume meat. They consume meat and they consume onion and garlic.
And then they will get cancer.
Cancer.
See, please try to understand. If you look only with one eye, there will be a problem. Krishna looks all around.
Yeah.
That is the thing. Krishna, you tell me the proteins we are talking about. You think protein. You get proteins all in vegetarian products. Yeah. These Chinese, you see Chinese. When I go to China and Japan and Australia, they say, Sumit, you are pure vegetarian, but you are stronger and taller and heftier than us. We are like thin. So, because we think using this 400 grams of brain, but Krishna does not think only of one thing. Krishna thinks 360 degrees. Because if we think, no, petrol is better than diesel. I will put in my car, I will put petrol because petrol I think is better. And you put that petrol in a diesel car. What will happen? See, we think according to our limited knowledge. And you please understand. Is our aim is to fight or to just read? Our aim of human birth, what is the aim of human birth?
Achieve mukti.
That is most important. See, war or being a soldier, being a teacher, being a doctor, being a housewife is not the aim. The aim of human birth is to go back home, back to Godhead. For example, a car. You shine it, you polish it, you do everything. But you are doing it everything and you are not taking it when you want to go from Bangalore to Hyderabad. You are still walking. You have a car which is staying in the apartment. But you are not, when you have to go to Hyderabad, you will walk down to Hyderabad. Now, is it a smart, intelligent decision?
No.
No. So, you think that for fighting, eating non-vegetarian onion garlic is good. But Baba, you are doing one thing, but spoiling the most important thing. See, always, Krishna says, Satatam Kirtayantu. At every point of time, we should remember him. Bodhayantas parasparam. Kathayantascha mam nityam. Ramanticha Tushyanticha. Always remember me. How? By discussing about me, by speaking about me. Because otherwise someone can influence you. Hare Krishna Prabhu, you are weak because you are not eating non-veg.
You speak like that.
No, I am telling you as an example. Then you will say, my dear friend, it is good because my main aim is human birth This body is meant for remembering Krishna. That is my main aim. I will give you one more example. Because what happens is, see, here you are in for 1 hour, but in outside world, you remain for long. So we have to give you sufficient weapons, good ammunition, German ammunition, American ammunition, Japanese, so that you can fight your war when you go out from this Gita class. Right? I'll, you know, it is very important, Hare Krishna Prabhu, that we always, we never forget about this main aim of human life. Otherwise, people are there to influence us in one or the other way.
It's like what we need and what is our aim, one's aim. Based on that, we have to move.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, I agree.
Prabhuji, are you able to hear me?
It is breaking.
Yeah. Maybe some internet issue is there. Now, Prabhuji, is it okay now?
Yeah.
It's like it is. We have to choose based on what we need.
Yeah.
It's everything is there in this material nature, but you have to choose what is right for me and what is not right for me.
If you know, for example, if you are not a doctor, will you know what is good, healthy for you or not? No.
No, I don't know.
That is very important. We should check with people who know, people who are in knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Any other question related to 3rd chapter? So, Nikita Mataji, any other thing?
Oh, I think Reshmaji just wanted to go through the mind control chart ones.
So, we'll stop the recording by mistake.